So, everyone's talking about it, and I figure I'll just throw my 2 cents as well. So the CW, well, Warner Brothers is selling off CW as a property. And it's very interesting. A lot of people is saying, they're using the phrase "go woke, go broke." A lot of their shows are very, very wokier than now. A lot of people sitting there wondering, maybe a little bit worried about what's going to go on with some of the shows, really. More about, like, the Arrowverse shows. Superman and Lois and Stargirl are going to be fine because they're run by HBO Max, and I'm pretty sure they could just probably dump some of that stuff over to, HBO Max. Now, some of the other shows like Riverdale and Legacies and some other shows that I don't watch, that's going to be kind of up in the air. Let's talk about the Arrow shows for a minute. Arrow is still going to probably be my favorite. Legends went downhill after the first couple of seasons. And I know a lot of people sit there and say a lot of the shows do, like The Flash and Supergirl. But, to be honest, the way that The Flash is right now, it always has me questioning, was that show ever really good? At least with Supergirl, that show, for the most part, was kind of at the bottom. And it pretty much stayed there. I mean, don't get me wrong, they had a couple of interesting storylines. But, a lot of with their CW, a lot of with their Arrowverse shows, I feel like they are more concerned about sending a message than telling a good story. Which is a reason, why people sit there and whenever they look at a DC show, they're just like, oh, it's going to be bad, it's going to be terrible. Some people was even sitting there talking about Superman and Lois, and I'm like, no, that show is actually pretty good. Stargirl is actually pretty good because they're ran by a company, that actually gives a damn about their property and how it's actually made and produced and stuff. The CW shows, the Arrowverse shows, they're done very cheap. They look very cheap. The storylines are usually pretty bad. And they just don't do DC good as a whole. So I mean, partly I'm looking at some of this stuff and I'm just like, does it really matter? Like even Batgirl, and granted, Batwoman. Even Batwoman started at the bottom, and they improved on some stuff in the third season, but in a lot of ways, it's still pretty crap. It's still pretty much crap. Yeah, they improved on the stuff that, like the fight scenes and stuff like that, but as far as like the story, all they're really doing is in this new season is just recycling Batman villains, to put on Batwoman. I mean, Warner Brothers, somebody must have had so much of an issue with Batwoman that they're like, you know what? Let's make Batgirl. Let's just make Batgirl. Let's just find a way to just, let's just kind of do this over again. And this is pretty much where it's coming, this is pretty much how I'm looking at it as. But, so it's going to be a big shake-up, and a lot of people are going to be worried about some of their favorite shows, Dynasty, Roswell, Charmed, which I've only watched one episode of that show, and I can tell you that show is crap. That show is crap. Roswell is crap. And they both come across as super woke, so it's one of those things where it's like, unfortunately, going woke does equal going broke a lot of times. You know, their ratings for most of their shows are in the toilets, except for like Stargirl and Superman and Lois, and maybe I don't know, something else. Um, but you know, most of their ratings are in the crap. You know, their shows look very cheap, very woke. No one really takes those shows seriously, to be honest, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because you know people were expecting shows like Stargirl and Superman and Lois to be just as crap, and most people didn't even bother to give them a chance because it came on the CW, and it's unfortunate because just because it's on the CW doesn't mean that it's made by the CW, you know. And when you look at the show and you look at the quality, you're like, yeah, okay, this is definitely not made by the CW. Now I'm pretty sure Black Lightning is made by the CW, but that show looks actually amazing for what they're able to do in the story line that they're able to sit there and tell. It's great. It's one of the very few exceptions besides Arrow that really hit the mark. No pun intended, but the rest of the shows, yeah. Now I'm just speculating that it could probably, you know, the Arrowverse shows could probably wind up being dumped over to HBO Max. But to be honest, I hate to sit there and say this, but it's like you can't sit there and put quality. You know, you can't put quality with crap. You know, you can't just mix them all together and just be like, all right, this is DC property, so let's just throw it all out there. It's like, no. Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Batwoman, those shows look like garbage. Okay, so unless you're going to actually increase the budget, lower the episode count, and make the storylines actually good, there's no point in putting that stuff on there. They have a bad track record, which I feel like it would just make HBO Max look bad. Like, let's put it this way. I remember I was out with my friends, and you know, one of my friends was like, you know, I just hope that, you know, they don't mix in the other shows with, you know, with Arrowverse. You know, like they don't mix in the Arrowverse shows with Superman and Lois. Like I want them to stay just as far apart as possible. Which, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got a little mad about that statement because I'm like, one, if it wasn't for Supergirl, there would be no Superman and Lois. And two, just because they're in the same universe doesn't dilute one show. Like, one show, like Superman and Lois is not gonna be bad if they decide to get, I don't know, Diggle in there, which they did. But I can understand, like, if they put the Flash on there, because they would actually have to make the special effects look better. You know? Like, you can't have a quality show and then put crappy special effects because, you know, it's Supergirl that's in it, or it's Arrow that's in it, you know, it's Flash that's in it. You can't do that. So I understand in that statement where they want the shows to be far apart. But let's be honest, they're all connected now. All of them. Lucifer, the Doom Patrol, Titans, the DCEU, all that stuff is connected in the Arrowverse. You know, it is what it is. Love it or hate it, it is what it is. So, I know I started talking about, like, CW being sold off, but I had to sit there and just take a look at some of the properties, or at least the properties that I sit there and watch. Now, I don't know what the hell they're going to sit there and do with Legacy. Legacy is a crap show that actually got better, but it took like 3 seasons for it to actually get good, and it's not like the original. It's not like on the original's level, or even the Vampire Diaries level, but it's still a lot better than what it was. So, kind of just crappy timing, because now that it got good, it's like, well, what's going to happen to the CW? Like, I'm pretty sure the shows are still going to be running on the air or whatever, so, I'm not too worried. I was just gonna say I'm not too worried, but it's like it's a TV show. I'm not too concerned with, you know, how they're gonna do, if it's gonna be good or bad, or, you know, if the show just gonna get canceled and dismissed or whatever. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna happen because there's just way too much contracts and promises and money on the line to just kind of let those properties go. So I don't think that anyone should be worried. If you're watching Riverdale or like Charmed or whatever, or even Legacies, about those shows, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be fine. Anyway, that's just my little take on CW being sold off because Warner Brothers just like, yeah, this network isn't doing too well. Good luck with it. That, to tell you the truth, in a nutshell, that's what it looked like. It looked like they were just like, nah, we good. We don't need that property anymore. Y'all done screwed it up enough. And I don't know. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's like, even if they do make another show, they kind of got to be bound by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers really don't always make the best decisions. So that's just, you know what, that's another video for another day. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.